Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The feature race at Santa Anita on Saturday is a good one. Race number 9, we're going 7 furlongs. It's the Grade 2 Santa Monica for fillies and mares. Let's take a look at this field. We've got some extremely talented horses in this race, but there are some question marks to be sure. Let's start with the number 1 Paradise Woods, Matt. This horse, I think, on her best day, is the most talented horse in this race. Multiple Grade 1 placed, already a multiple Grade 1 winner, but we haven't seen her in a very long time. I guess the argument is she might be the only horse in this race that could step with the likes of Unique Bella and Abel Tasman when she's right.
Yeah, and really kind of the question is, going out for a new trainer, new connections for the first time anyway, you have to wonder if she can still do it, because last year in 2018 as a 4-year-old, boy, I have to be honest, not one of her 3 races was any good. Now I'm drawing a line through the Santa Anita. She's not a turf horse. Union Rags on grass, well documented, can't stand up. But the 2 races prior to that, Santa Monica last year and the Beholder Mile, she was slow out of the gate. Usually that's a sign of a horse going off form or just kind of losing interest, particularly with the fillies and mares. And I couldn't help but think that, you know what, they're going to retire her. She's going to go off to the second career. And the fact that she's even showing up here makes me think that the connections must think that she can still run a little bit.
And she's working quickly. A bull at 6 furlongs and 10 and change leading up to this race. Timeform US believes that she has the speed to be close to what should be a rather moderate pace. That blue bar indicates that Timeform US believes this race will favor horses on or near the early lead, and if Selcourt can run any more, Selcourt, the number 2, should be able to make the early lead. She won this race last year at the expense of Paradise Woods and Marley's Freedom, but she was coming into last year's Santa Monica in 10 times the form that she's in now, because after the Santa Monica she went away, red flag. She comes back in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Let's not hold that against her. She just was sent on a mission from the rail. It was a ridiculously fast pace in a race where the pace collapsed. Throw it out. Last time out, she was very disappointing at odds on.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, that's sort of the red flag for me, is that that's a spot. I get it. It's a short field, a little bit of you're coming off of a layoff, and for all intents and purposes, I'm not going to, like I say, you don't hold the Breeders' Cup against her, but you got to do better than finishing more than 2 lengths behind Spring Lily, who, look, I think she's okay, but she is not in the class of some of these girls in here. The question really boils down to, does she still have any of that run left in her? Because if she does, she's very dangerous if you believe the pace projector, because she's a major gate-to-wire threat. That's if she can still step.
And also, if Paradise Woods is a little slow out of the gate, that would give Selcourt even more of an advantage breaking outside of that one. Yeah, and that Kalukan Queen, she didn't really break very well. She kind of bobbled out of there, but then Tyler Bays had her on the outside and in the clear. She made the lead at the 5/16 pole, and she let Spring Lily come back on her and beat her on the square going 6.5. We'll see if Selcourt gets this sort of pace projector. If she does, I think she's going to rebound with a good effort. Bob Baffert's got a couple in here, very dangerous. The 3 is Marley's Freedom. This horse might have been the best filly and mare sprinter last year. She didn't win the Eclipse. That went to Shamrock Rose, who beat her a half length in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. But boy, she won her other 4 races, for Baffert very, very impressively. Last time out in the Go for One, she was odds on. That was not a strong field. She had to work hard. Do you think the mile was too far?
Yeah, I think she's better at 6.5, 7 furlongs. This, to me, is her game at the end of the day. I think she ran the best race in the Filly and Mare Sprint. I know she didn't quite get there, but given the situation and how wide she was, slow break, I thought she was much the best in there. To be honest, I think she's the horse to beat, just based on what she's accomplished with Baffert. I do find a little bit of the musical chairs interesting. You see Van Dyke and Smith, they're breaking obviously right next to one another, both going out for Baffert. One is on one, one's on the other. I'd be curious to know how that decision was made, who made that decision. But at the end of the day, to me, Marley's Freedom feels like, I hate to say safe, because anything can happen in a horse race. To me, I expect an honest effort out of her, where some of these other girls, it could be entirely possible they just can't run.
Do you think Dream Tree has the speed to go with Selcourt in the early portion of this race? Because she has been forward in many of her races. 2 starts back in the Prioress at Saratoga, she was right on the pace. She drilled that field in the stretch. I noticed when watching the replay, right at the wire, she took a bad step, and it looked like she hopped some tire tracks or something, and that just looked a little bit weird to me. And she came back in the La Brea, and she was terrible. I know she didn't break, and she rushed up to contest the pace, but there was really nothing there for Dream Tree that day. This is a filly that's had layoff line after layoff line after layoff line. What are we getting off the bench this time?
Yeah, that's the question. Look, from a running style standpoint, we'll start off with that. I think she is forward. I thought long and hard about picking her on top. The problem is the La Brea I can go both ways on it and say off of such a long layoff, like you say, not the sharpest out of the gate, but she packed it in with about 3/8 of a mile to go and really never offered any kind of resistance. And then I go back to that Prioress, and although on paper it looks like a tremendous effort, that field she beat that day, it has not come back particularly strong. We know Moonshine Memories was a shell of herself at 3 as she was at 2. Mia Mischief is a nice one, but she usually needs some things to go her way. I don't know where to really stand with Dream Tree. It wouldn't surprise me at all if she ended up being the best of this lot here in 2019. It also wouldn't surprise me at all if she just simply can't run anymore.
You and I are Mopetism's biggest fans. She's earned $750,000, and that's not bad for a mare that's only won 3 times in her career, but she has kept top company. Throw out the matriarch. She's not a turf horse. She ran better than a lot of people expected in the Breeders' Cup Distaff 2 starts back, a race full of legitimately talented horses, including Monomoy Girl. I just wonder if this 7 furlongs is a little bit short for her. Maybe if the pace is faster than expected, she can come with a run.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if the pace all of a sudden heats up, I think she'll be finishing at the end as opposed to maybe some of the other ones in here. I've always thought that she's just kind of that long distance kind of grinder, and especially at this point in her career, I don't think she's all of a sudden going to get better unless there's an equipment change or something like that. I think she's not quite of this caliber, but again, if you're looking for an underneath type, maybe her.
And what can you say about the Manitoba-bred Win Machine, the number 6 Escape Clause? She's won 19 of 28 in her career. I love the ride Tyler Bays gave her last time out, going a mile in his 16th. He made a very sharp, decisive bid early on the far turn to take control of that race, and Escape Clause did the rest. Now, beating KP Wildcat and Lamuna, it's a far cry from the quality of horses she's going to face on Saturday, but she's sharp and she does everything. Sprint, route, wet, dry, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. Don't ignore her. Don't just look at her and say, well, she doesn't have these sexy names. She's going up against the best horses she's ever faced. She's a racehorse. All she does is show up and run. Doesn't matter, like you say, turf, dirt, route, sprint, whatever it is, she shows up and goes. I have a funny feeling that she will, put it this way, I don't think she's going to get the respect she deserves as far as the wagering is concerned. Wouldn't be surprised at all if she was right there and even came with the upset.
According to DRF's Bradfree, Amuse is a questionable starter right now for Dick Mandela. She is the lightly raced filly with all the upside in the world, but this would only be her first start at 4, and she would be doing it against some salty horses. I think this filly has some potential down the road. This just seems like a tough spot, even with all the question marks surrounding the big names.
You've got time. I know you want to get a graded stakes placing, but don't throw her to the wolves. If all these girls show up with their best, this is going to be arguably the best sprint race of the entire year already, and we're only in February. Give this girl a little bit of time. You'll find another spot for her. I just don't think this is where you want to run her.
It's a fun race. Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 2 Santa Monica. Paradise Woods. It's interesting that her 2 major wins have come when she was controlling the pace in middle distance races. We'll see if she deals with Selcourt in the early part of this 7 furlong race, but the way she's been training, if she can just go back in the Wayback Machine and remember who she used to be, she might just be the best one.
Yeah, I guess that is really the crux, though, is can she still do that? Because what I saw last year, she didn't give off any indication that she still had that left in the tank. She packed it in badly in all of those races. But you're right, her best, I think, is as good, if not better, than anyone else's best. And at the end of the day, just strictly from a price standpoint, I'll take a little bit of a shot. But at the end of the day, I don't want to have a lot of money in here.
I'm banking on Timeform US's pace projector to be right. I'm hoping pace makes the race. I'm hoping Selcourt could bounce out of there, maybe get a little bit of distance between herself, Paradise Woods, and Dream Tree, who seem like the most likely chasers. And maybe Selcourt can run back to last year's Santa Monica, because the last 2 races have been uninspiring, to say the least. Matt goes with Paradise Woods. I go with Selcourt in the Grade 2 Santa Monica. It's the feature race at the Great Race Place on Saturday, and as an approximate post of 4:09 Pacific. Good luck.